Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Modern Warfare video. Today I'm going to show you how to level up your battle pass as fast as possible in Season 4. At the time of recording this video, the new season has just started, but if you're watching this in later seasons it will still apply. Now I'm going to try and cut out a lot of the waffle and make this video as simple and easy as possible to understand and get the tips from, but obviously make sure you're sticking around till the end of the video so you don't miss out on any important tips, because I'm going to be covering loads of different little bits of advice and tips for you guys. So if you want to get the most out of this video, make sure you're sticking around till the end of it. And obviously as well, if you guys find this useful, be sure to leave a like on the video. It really helps me out, so thank you for that. I'll also have some timestamps in the description, so check that out if you want to go to a specific bit of the video. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into it. So as I'm sure a lot of you guys will appreciate, there are a lot of different factors that can actually go into leveling up the battle pass. It's not just as simple as just playing the game. Okay, so what's the most important thing? Well, currently the most important thing when leveling up your battle pass is the amount of time you do put into it. That is the biggest factor by far. So obviously you want to be playing as much of the game as possible. That will obviously level you up faster. So because of this, you want to make sure that the matches you're going into last longer, and that way it'll be much more efficient. The reason for this is because the lobbies, and especially at the moment, they're not very good. You have to wait around for ages in the lobbies, and although people might not appreciate this, it does actually take a lot of time out of your playing time, because it's sort of several minutes between matches you're waiting for another match to start, and it really does add up fast. So go for longer matches, that way you're spending less time in the lobbies, and therefore you're actually putting more time into playing the game, because what ultimately counts is time played in the game, in the match, not in the lobbies, not in the menu, actually playing the game. So for this reason, it would be wise to play longer game modes in multiplayer, such as Domination, Hardpoint and Headquarters, those kind of modes. There is a caveat to this, and that is that you need to actually be doing well in those matches. So there's no point just playing a long match, you need to actually do well. And I'll explain how to go about that and more about this a little bit later on, so obviously stay tuned for that. If you're not playing multiplayer and you're deciding to play Spec Ops as well, or Survival, those can be really, really good as well. If you're getting lots of kills and you're doing the objectives and so forth in Spec Ops, you will do really well, you'll level up the Battle Pass fast, for sure. Let's say you're not the best at multiplayer, or you're not the best at Warzone. If you want to play the game, you want to level up your Battle Pass, this would be a good way to do it by playing Spec Ops. But the alternative is obviously Warzone as well. That's really, really good. In a similar fashion to what I said about multiplayer, you want to be making sure that your Warzone matches are longer as well, and that you try to do better in them. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later on as well. The other massive factor as well is XP earned. So you want to have longer game modes, and you want to make sure you're doing well in your matches, so that you can ultimately get more XP. So if you guys are looking for some ways to obviously get more XP in games, well, Shipment and Shoot House or Rust or any of the new DLC maps, if they're good ones, those 24/7 playlists, especially Shipment, that is a really good way. And if you play objective game modes in that playlist, it's even better in itself. So try and get into those maps and that playlist if you can. If Infinity Ward has decided to be really mean and not put any good playlist in, you just want to be playing longer game modes, ideally with objectives, so you can get as much XP as possible. But yeah, high XP games, Shipment, Shoot House, Rust, any of the new DLC maps that are good ones, those are really good as well. But as a side note to XP earned, double XP doesn't count. So when there are double XP weekends, that doesn't automatically count towards extra or faster battle pass progression. It doesn't really have an effect at all. And also if you're using double XP tokens, that doesn't have an effect at all on your battle pass earn rate. What does have an effect is the double tier progression. That sometimes they put that on, and I'll explain more later on about how to get that. So my general tips for doing well so you can get more XP and so forth. So for multiplayer, you want to be using a good class, you want to be using kill streaks and equipment and field upgrades as much as possible. You want to go for the objective. If you are playing an objective game mode, go for that as much as possible, because again that gets you more score, more XP, and you also obviously want to be getting more kills as well, so do whatever you can to get more kills. I know it sounds a bit obvious, but people sometimes do not realise that kills will have an indirect effect on Battle Pass earn rate. So obviously more kills, go for the objective, using kill streaks, equipment, field upgrades, and obviously a good class. Do whatever you can to get as much XP as possible in multiplayer. That is how you boost your XP, and obviously try and go for longer game modes if you can as well. Okay, fine, that's good for multiplayer. What about Spec Ops? Well, it's just sort of like I said, getting lots of kills, trying to go for the objective or whatever challenges there are. Do whatever you can to do as best as you can in the game. Pretty simple. But for Warzone, you want to be making sure you're going around the world more, doing more exploring. You want to be looting more, because obviously more looting gets you a bigger bonus at the end of the game. You obviously want to be getting more kills as well, and you want to be getting a lot of contracts. I'd say one of the main things is contracts, because every time you do contracts, obviously you get bonuses from it and it gives you a better chance of surviving, but at the same time you also get a bigger bonus for other stuff. So the more contracts you do, the bigger the bonus. So definitely recommend that. If you guys want a quick good guide on how to complete contracts as best as possible, I made a video on that not too long ago, so I'll have a card on screen for that. Go check it out. It'll be very useful if you guys want any advice on that at all. Now, obviously, the other main thing, and this is probably one of the biggest things in Warzone, is obviously you want to be surviving longer. If you survive longer, you get a bigger bonus, so more XP, but you also obviously spend more time in the match. So both those things make it really important that you need to survive. So yes, you need to get kills, but don't do it if it's going to sacrifice the amount of time you're able to stay alive for. So survival is kind of the main thing you want to look forward to, but if you can get, you know, lots of contracts, kills, looting at the same time, that's just a good bonus. But survival is like one of the main things. So you know, if you do follow these tips for Warzone, you'll be able to survive longer and obviously get all these other bonuses through contracts, looting and kills, and that places you higher in matches at the end of the game. And that means you'll get more XP, you'll have more time played, and you'll get a faster progression. So that is sort of the main way in Warzone to level up your battle pass faster. Now, people always ask me as well, you know, which game mode is best? Is it Warzone? Is it multiplayer? Is it Spec Ops? I'll be honest, I'm not 100% sure. First of all, I'd say play whatever you find most enjoyable doing. You know, if you've got nothing left to grind in multiplayer, don't play it. Play something else like Warzone or Spec Ops. I would probably say if you're playing something like Shipment 24/7, you're doing really well in matches, that is probably just as good as playing Warzone matches. And if you're doing really well in Spec Ops, that would be about the same. Now, I'm glad you guys have stayed this far into the video, because another very important tip is to make sure you're doing your challenges. People often overlook this so much, and it's kind of silly really, because there's so many challenges in the game. It gives you a ton of XP, and like I say, earning more XP will correlate with you earning your tiers faster. So it's something you don't want to miss. So how do we go about doing this as best as possible? Well, you want to be doing them for both multiplayer and Warzone. So what you want to be doing is, first of all, the daily challenges, doing them as soon as possible and try and get them done in both multiplayer and Warzone. At the same time, try and go for some weekly challenges for both multiplayer and Warzone as well. You obviously then also want to go for your mission challenges as well. So, you know, choose an appropriate challenge that sort of matches up to your class or the mode you're playing, something like that. And then also, on top of this, you've also got the officer challenges, which comes out with Season 4. So level up as fast as possible, see what challenges there are, and the more challenges that are unlocked, try to go for them as soon as possible, because it gives you more XP. Just keep an eye on these challenges so you know what is up for grabs in terms of getting XP. Finally, the other big thing in terms of challenges is camo challenges. These are really good. Obviously, you get cool cameras out of it, but at the same time, doing lots of camo challenges gets you a ton of XP, and this correlates with you getting more tier progression. I think you guys can see where I'm going with this. So by doing the daily challenges, the weekly challenges, the mission challenge, the officer challenges, and then also the camo challenges, if you do all that together, it's a ton of XP. If you guys are stuck on camo challenges or you want any help, I've got a playlist for that, for getting the Damascus and Obsidian camos, so be sure to check out that playlist. I'll leave a card on screen and a playlist in the description, so go and check that out if you want any help with those challenges. So you guys may think I'm out of tips, but you'd be wrong, because there's a ton more to talk about. The next thing is trials. So trials are really good as well. Now, they don't get you super fast progression, but it's a nice little top up to help that tier progression go a bit faster. So how does it work? Well, it seems that there's a set amount of tier progression you get for every trial you do, no matter how long you take. So you can rush it or you can do it as slow as possible. As long as you complete it, you'll get a set amount of tier progression. Now, it seems to be about 10% or so. It might be slightly less than that, but it looks to me to be about 10%. So with that logic, if you did it 10 times, you'd go up a tier. So my advice is to save your tokens once you've leveled up your battle pass in Season 4 for the next season, but I'd say if you've also saved up tokens already when you're trying to level up this battle pass, just use them all as soon as possible, get all those trials done, and that will give you a nice boost towards your tiers. So what you want to do is you choose a trial which you are good with, because if you can do it as quickly as possible, then it's just easy to do, and you can get more trials done more quickly, and obviously that will get you more progression. So just to get it done as soon as possible, you'll get a bonus from those trials. Now, people often also ask me, oh, I'm on tier X or Y, do you think I'll be able to complete the battle pass in time? My advice with trying to get it done is this. Here's a few tips. First of all, consider trying to level up your battle pass first and then buy it. if you think you'll get your money's worth. Because the main things you get are obviously the weapons and a few other bits here and there. The rest of it probably isn't too valuable unless you're really interested in it. But the weapons are free, and you know, there's a few COD points here and there that are free as well. So unless you're really going to get your money's worth out of it, do you need to buy the battle pass is the question. So what I would do is I would try and level it up to level 100 or whatever tier you want to get to first, and then if you've got enough time and you've done it, you can then buy the battle pass and get all the stuff that you haven't unlocked because you hadn't bought it, rather than buying it straight away and then trying to rush to get it done, because then obviously you might not get everything you wanted out of it and it might be a waste of money. So that'd be my advice. If you get the whole battle pass done, you get I think it's around 300 extra COD points as a bonus, so you'll make a profit with COD points, but only if you complete the whole battle pass. So otherwise it might not necessarily be worth it. So that would be my advice. You want to also set yourself a goal. So at the start of the season, I'll often say to myself, right, I want to get on average 2 tiers done every day. Now it doesn't matter if I don't get 2 tiers done in a day, because then I can just make up for that another day. So for example, if I got 3 tiers done in one day and then 1 tier the next day, that would be on average 2 tiers a day. And that would, if I'm doing that every day, I will get the pass done in that time for sure. But obviously if you're not looking at this at the start of the season and you're wondering, will I get it done, will I not, because I get a lot of questions around that, this is what you need to do. You need to look at the top tier, which is 100. There are only 100 tiers in the battle pass, so that's the total number of tiers, and you want to take away the tier you're on from 100. So let's say I was on tier 60, it would be 100 minus 60, which is 40. Then what you want to do is you want to divide that number by the number of days left in the season that it says. So it count down and say, you know, season ends in X number of days. So you want to divide it by that. So if it is 100 minus 60, that's 40 tiers I've got left to do. You want to divide that by the number of days you've got left. So let's say I had 20 days left and I was on tier 60. That means I'd have 40 tiers left to do, and I'd have 20 days to do it, which would be equal to 2 tiers a day on average. That was what I need to do. So use that little calculation just to work out how many tiers you need to get to see if you're on track to complete it or not. What other tips have I got for you guys? Well, another really important thing is to keep an eye out for special events. You know, there's double tier progression events all the time. It normally comes at least once or twice a season. It's come once every season, but sometimes it's come twice as well. So keep an eye out for that, because when it's there, it will normally last for a few days, and you obviously double the rate at which you're earning these tiers. So it's really, really fast, really good. Also, you know, if you're earning these COD points from the battle pass, you can obviously use that to buy tiers themselves. I wouldn't recommend it. It's not very efficient, and you probably won't have many COD points left to buy the next battle pass. But if you want to do that, you know, by all means go ahead and use the COD points you're earning to buy those tiers. And also, if you guys do buy any bundles in the shop, some of them come with battle pass tiers as well, but obviously I wouldn't recommend that, but it's up to you. Finally, if you guys are playing a match and it's really annoying, or you're bored of it, or you know, you're getting absolutely wrecked and you really just want to leave because it's really frustrating, you just think, damn it, I want to get out of this match, I would urge you to try and wait it out, especially if you've been playing for a long time, because obviously if you quit the match before it finishes, you won't get any tier progression whatsoever, whereas if you just stick through the match to the end, you will get tier progression. So even if it's annoying, even if it's boring, I would urge you to stick in the match until it ends, so that you get that little bit of tier progression as well. So those are all my major tips. If you guys do all this, you shouldn't have a problem at all. You'll be getting tiers done so fast. So obviously I wish you the best of luck with getting this done. If you guys have got any other tips which I haven't thought of, be sure to leave them down below in the comment section. Let me guys know what tier you are on now, and thank you all so much for watching. If you found the video useful, be sure to leave a like on the video. It really helps me out, and you guys would be absolutely awesome if you hit that subscribe button down below as well. Even better if you turn post notifications on, because that way you won't miss out on any of my upcoming Modern Warfare videos. I'm going to have lots of useful tips and videos and all sorts coming throughout the next few weeks and months, so you really don't want to miss that. So hope you found it useful. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your guys' support, and I'll see you hopefully on the next video.